Hello and welcome to the third Hustings by the 3million for our campaign Our Home, Our Vote for the local elections happening in May. I'm delighted to have two candidates for the Corby from Corby. I should say this is Corby. I'm Nicholas Hatton of the 3million. And to introduce all the speakers, we've got Andras Juhas, who is an Hungarian citizen working on the campaign for the 3million. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be sharing the questions and answers, and we'll be finished by 6. So enjoy the hustings. Andras.
Thank you, Nicholas, and I would like to welcome all of you to this hosting, which when we started organizing, it was still Corby, but then since then it became the Northamptonshire council candidates. As Nicholas said, we have two candidates today from the Labour Party and from the Lib Dems. I would like to highlight that our campaign is completely politically neutral. We have invited the Greens and the Conservatives. Unfortunately, they couldn't send any candidates for this hustings tonight. The 3million is an organization representing EU citizens in the UK, and our campaign these weeks and these months is focusing on mobilizing EU citizens to vote at the local elections on the 6th of May. This may be the last time for many EU citizens that they can vote in England. So we think it's very important that more and more European citizens register to vote and then they go to vote. We are also organizing a week of activities next week. This is part of the Our Home, Our Vote campaign. We will have speakers of different topics throughout the week. So please check out our website for that. As Nicholas said, we organized 3 hustings in the area at the end of March in Peterborough and Northampton. And this is the last hustings we are organizing. And thank you for joining us on Facebook and on Zoom. Of course, the target audience is EU citizens, but not only. These hustings have been open to all residents in these areas and also beyond. We have 2 panelists today. Stanbra is from the Lib Dem party, and Ivanova is a Labour candidate. Thank you for joining us. Before we start with the panel, we invited 2 European citizens who live in the area. Larisza is a Hungarian Ukrainian citizen, and Jelena is from Estonia, and they both live in Corby. And we wanted to ask them to speak a bit about why it's important for EU citizens to vote, why it's important to be politically active, and what issues matter to them at this local election. So without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Larisza. Larisza, please.
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening. So exactly, give you voting. It's mean you worry about town, which one I adore this town. It's beautiful, it's nice, and I like everything, and I want just give my voice about that candidate, which will be think about people who like same I am. It's mean it doesn't matter which country, but it's mean we still live here, and we want made if be better. So it will be for king place when kids can playing. It's road, because we have a horrible road. Modern things we have so it's mean it's too difficult. people which like me. I'm not very good speak English, but it's not mean I not live here. If we live here, just need a little bit help from government, from borough council. It's people need be same in like who will be understand. We can speak easy. For me, for example, it's too difficult. How I can came first time, and I just think, oh my God, how I can speak, how they understand what I want, what is my problem. So if that party will be have people who can understand problem, which one we have, it will be great. And exactly I go on 6th May, and I give my voice because I live here, and it's mean for me how we will believe, because I am 48 old years. My daughter is just 13. And I think so, yeah, I came here, but my daughter will be like have a English citizen. It's mean I want to do something what will be important for her. And we doesn't need, and we need member, we have too much people who not has English citizen. And we are just want made better and good life for everybody, not just for like me, for every people. So I definitely go and I give my voice in 6th of May.
Thank you, Larisza. I
You're
think
welcome.
we hear very often from you citizens that it's important to give a voice to us, and I think this is what you said. So we hear this very often. May I give the floor now to Jelena, who is from Estonia? Jelena?
Yes, hello everyone. Good afternoon, and hope you're all doing well. I'd like to say a couple words about myself. I came to England 14 years ago, and I didn't speak English at all. I came to visit my mom, and I got stuck here, which I'm very happy about. And I enjoy my life and enjoy living in England in general. And my daughter was born here. But at some point, I've noticed that we being treated not the same as British citizens. I don't want to say like exact points, yeah, if I can say it like that. But of course, as previous speaker said, I'm completely agree with her, and it will be nice to have a person who speaks our language. And for those people who doesn't speak English, it will be much easier to explain their problem. And will be also nice to have someone who is very helpful and who is standing behind your back and like backing you up, and very interested to sort out your problems. So I don't know. You said I need to ask some questions.
Yeah, Jelena, if you want, you can ask a question.
To be honest, at the moment I'm a little bit like confused about the questions. I don't know what to ask for. I don't want to be like I don't want to ask very personal questions. Maybe during conversation I'll like think about it more.
Okay, as you wish. Thank you for your contribution.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas, I think the floor is yours. Nicholas will moderate the discussion, and yes.
So thank you, Andreas. Thank you, Larisza. Thank you, Jelena. It's really nice to hear from you, citizens. And you know, this is our home, and getting involved locally is really important. And because we can vote, you know, we should, because it's also our local affairs. So we got a question to Chris and Kat, and I know I think it's great that you accepted to join the Hustings. I feel sorry that your Conservative of Green friends didn't join us, unlike in the other Hustings. So the floor is going to be just yours, and it's up to you to make the most of that. I'm going to start with a question asked by Leanne. So it's a very general question, but she asks, what are your top 5 priorities? Or maybe not top 5, because I want you to be a bit concise, but maybe at least what will be your top 3 priorities if you were to get elected? Chris to start, and then Kat. And maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself first, sorry, so you can introduce.
Yeah, I can tell you a bit about myself. I speak English. I'm sorry to say I don't speak any other languages. I can have a go at Welsh, but I'm not sure that's going to work in this forum. So that's a trait of the English, I think, that we're not very good at speaking other languages. But I'll hopefully I'll do my best. So I'm 62 years old. I've lived in Corby since 1980. I too love Corby. I think it's a fantastic place. Been a councillor since 2003. Married with 2 grown-up children and 2 grandchildren, and I currently, when I'm working, I work as a part-time bookkeeper, and I'm also a county councillor for the Oakley division here in Corby. I was born in Essex, but don't hold that against me. I'll tell you a bit about 3 priorities then for us, for the Liberal Democrats that are standing for North Northamptonshire Council, and you know, we have lots of things we'd like to do, but these are the 3 priorities. Number 1, tackling climate change. You might think, well, climate change is a global problem, surely. You know, what can you do about it? But you have to think globally and act locally. You know, we all have our bit to do to tackle climate change, and we all have to start somewhere. So we're very keen that the new council does that. And one of the things we'd really like to see the council do is bring people together. Possibly in a citizens' assembly, possibly in some other way, because there'll be loads of really good ideas out there about how we tackle climate change. Next one is about social care. We need excellent social care when we need it, whether that's as a child or as an adult. The children's services at the county council were so badly run that the government had to step in and take them over. And now there's a children's trust running children's services, and that just can't be allowed to happen again. It should never have happened in the first place, but that's where we are. So we need to ensure that that services for children are improved drastically. Adult social care services are a lot better. They need to maintain the standard, but improve also. And finally, new houses to match local needs, the houses we need where we need them. Here in Corby, there are over 1,000 families on the waiting list for a council house. And that's an appalling statistic when you think about it. Some people who want a council house are waiting 10, 15 years to get one. And because of that, we then have a situation here, and it's not unique to Corby, where private rentals are quite high too and unaffordable to many people, simply because everyone that wants to rent a property is looking for a private rental. And because of that, that pushes up the demand and pushes up the rents. And then the third thing around housing is we need to build the private houses that people want to live in, those that want to buy. But we're in the hands of developers at the moment, private companies who are there to make a profit. We need to find a way to unblock the blockages as regards building private houses to be bought. If we do all those things, we should go a long way to solving the housing crisis that we have at the moment. So 3 priorities from us there.
Thank you very much, Chris. Kat, what would be your priorities if you were to get elected?
Good evening. Labas vakaras, sveiki, čavinis, privyet. To everyone who joined tonight, my name is Kat, and I come from Polish Belarusian background, but my parents migrated to Latvia when I was a child, so I'm a mixture of a little bit of everything. I stand this year because I would like to bring communities together and communicate very well, because I think if you start small and open the communication between our diverse communities, we can hear people And that's where we start, because we need to solve the issues what people tell us. That's why I think our first priority is to communicate, to start an open dialogue. And that's the reason I would like to be elected in the unitary, to work on the communication between the local councils and the unitary within the issues of the local people. I have lived in Corby and worked in Kettering and all Northamptonshire in social care for past 11 years. And I feel I can bring a lot of messages, how people feel and what they need are. The second priority would be to work on integration. As we all heard, the language is a real issue. Children being supported at schools, having extra support where there's support workers and teaching assistants who can help people to integrate their families in. When you move, nobody tells you how to get registered with the doctors. Nobody promotes, even with a settlement scheme. You know, there is not many services you can turn to for help. That is my passion, to help European citizens, but also the community I live within. So my doors will be open for anyone to come and freely call me, talk to me. And maybe the third one is also encouraging young people to stay in Northamptonshire and Corby and create niches for employment and attract finances for sure. Because I think there is so many young people who are professionally trained, and if we collaborate together, I think we can make the country stronger and create jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kat. I've got another question. It's Bev who asked, and it goes back to what you're talking about communications. How will you properly engage with residents to ensure their voice is heard? So this time I'm going to start with you, Kat, and then Chris can come in.
Well, as I said, you know, I hope I could come across as approachable, and I encourage people to call me, to email me. I have worked a lot on campaign and talking to people for many years before for other councillors, and yes, just listening to people, you know, like connecting with them. And yes, that is one of my main priorities, to give my phone number and email address, just to collaborate. And I hope I am approachable enough that people feel free, they could reach out and be heard. And I'll, you know, make one of my priorities to respond to people and build on their trust. Thank you.
Chris.
Thank you. So one of the things that I do and have done as a councillor over many years now is put out a regular newsletter to the area that I represent, paid for from Liberal Democrat Party funds. It's not publicly funded, delivered by volunteers. We do that regularly, and in that we'll publish my address, my phone number, my email address, so people can be in touch whenever they want. I regularly attend Residents Association meetings at Oakley Vale when they are held. Haven't been for a while because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and other meetings of community meetings that are held across the ward as and when they take place. I'm always available to talk to people on the phone. If they have problems, I'll go around and see them and hear what they've got to say and do the best I can to deal with them. So absolutely, it's right that your local councillor should be available, and you should know where you can contact him or her, and we certainly do our best to do that. In the newsletters, we also report back to people, give them information as to what we've been doing, what's going on in the community, what the council's up to, just so that people can be as fully informed as they can be.
Thank you very much. It's good to know that both of you got open doors policy. Next question. It's a question that comes back quite a lot, and not just in Corby. Can we expect council tax increases? So Chris, you start, and then Kat.
The short answer to that one is yes, you can. Councils generally have their finances under huge pressure. Government are always looking to reduce the amount of money that they give to councils, and yet they're also looking to councils to provide more services. The most expensive services that councils provide are without doubt in social care, and that's a demand-led service. Nobody knows how many people will be wanting to go into care tomorrow. Nobody knows how many children will be needing to be fostered or put into care or looked after in some way tomorrow. It's an ever-moving thing, and it's demand-led, and that means council finances are under huge pressure. Because of that, because of the government's downward push on the money it gives to councils, really the only place they have to go is council tax. And so you will see, I'm sorry to say, over the years, council tax increases. Hopefully not as high as the one we've had this year, which was 5%, but they will come. Unfortunately, when they don't come, what you see is a council that goes bankrupt, which is what happened to Northamptonshire County Council, because it was the policy of the party running the council not to increase council tax. And as sure as night follows day, they ran out of money. So I'm afraid, yes, you will see council tax increases. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is at the moment, I'm afraid.
Thank you, Chris. Kat?
I think at this point I would need to highlight the bankruptcy that caused by the Conservative government and the consequences we all will have to suffer. Here in Corby, we have built a very robust council service, especially that deals with our rubbish recycling and a lot of in-house services that we don't outsource to private businesses, and that's how we manage to keep the costs down. But when others overspend or unresponsibly manage their finances, these are consequences we all gonna see, I suppose. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. There's another question by Andrew Morrison on the chat here. It's regarding building and housing, because it's something that's very, very clearly a local prerogative. Why is so much Greenland being used to build new housing? So if you could develop on this subject. It says for Chris, but I think it's for both of you. Kat, do you want to be the next one answering this question, and then Chris?
Well, as we are seeing that the communities are growing, there is lots of people coming down here from London or other countries to work, and that drives the demand because people have to live somewhere. But we will, as a local council, we definitely make sure that there is a balance between the green London and the spaces for people to live, as well as also when they build new builds and things like that, there is social housing for people in need. As Chris mentioned, there is big waiting list. So the council, the Corby Council, works very closely with development that there is a percentage of social housing. But yes, I think that because Corby is a very growing community, if you look historically, now we are, larger than ever, and the demand for housing comes from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris?
So Corby has an ambition that was set way back in a long time ago, good 15, 20 years ago, to double its size. And I think the original ambition was by 2020. That wasn't quite met, but Corby still has this ambition to build more houses, to double the size of the population, which then stood at around 55,000. So let's say to around 100,000. We're not there yet. And the reason for that was because Corby people demanded better facilities in the town where they lived. And in order to get those better facilities, one of the things that was needed was more people living here with disposable income to spend at those facilities, so that the people that provide them actually saw that it was worthwhile bringing things to Corby for the local people. And to do that, you need to build houses, and inevitably some of them will be on greenfield sites. You know, it'd be great if we could just use brownfield sites, i.e. sites that have been previously developed, to build the houses we need, but that's unlikely to happen. So sometimes you have to build on greenfield sites. What happens is people that own them, the landowners, they bring forward applications to build houses, and with the relaxing of planning laws recently, it's much more difficult for councils to refuse those applications, so they get granted, and the houses will be built undoubtedly. You know, west of Corby is the latest one to being given permission. I think it's over 4,000 houses that's going to be built, sort of between Beanfield and Cottingham Middleton on a big site there. It will happen, but you know, it's part of the ambition that the town has to grow and to prosper that we're going to build those houses.
Okay, let me ask a question on this actually, because I'm sure you understand that while it's great to get new residents and building more houses because there's pressure, there's also concern from the local residents that they're losing their green space, the fields and everything. And how do you answer this concern or address these concerns?
You want me to come in on that one first? So the green space that is being lost is mainly on the outskirts of the town. It's not within the sort of current urban boundary. So Corby is quite famous for its green spaces, its urban woodland, its parks, and they will remain, absolutely. They're not up for development at all, mainly because they're in the ownership of the council, whereas the green spaces on the outskirts of the town are mainly in private ownership, and the council doesn't have any control over what those private landowners do with that land. If they choose to put it forward for development and they get planning permission, then that's what they'll do, and that's what will happen. But I think everyone in Corby needs to be reassured that the green spaces within the town are not under threat.
I personally think this is where the voice of local residents who are in the unitary council will come in place to communicate, you know, of these issues, what the residents care about. We have beautiful parks. The Corby Boats and Lake have just been refurbished. East Carlton Park is beautifully private park, but lets residents to enjoy it. You know, and all the applications come through the council. So hopefully when we are joint unitary, we can still fight and explain why those green spaces are important and balance between expansion and of course conservation of our greenery.
Thank you very much. Next question is about transport. Caroline asks, what is your policy on rural transport provision? So Kat first and then Chris.
To be honest, I don't really know. I hope that if that's a need, we could improve. Sadly, I drive for a long time, and I don't know the situation, but I hope, you know, if people need the transport because it's really important for a daily life to get to work or, you know, to get your weekly groceries, the service should be offered.
Thank you. Chris?
So many rural areas in Northamptonshire have no bus service at all, no public transport whatsoever. That wasn't always the case, but one of the many things that the government has done is to cut subsidies to councils, and in turn councils have had to cut the subsidies they once paid to some bus services because they've had to do other things like provide social care. So there is a huge problem and there needs to be a radical solution. But let's be clear, Northamptonshire Council will not have the financial resources from its own bank account to pay to subsidise rural transport services across Northamptonshire. What's needed is a proper government policy on transport, on bus services to villages and rural communities. Personally, I'd quite like to see government be really radical on this and start trialling free bus services to some parts of our area and other areas too, both to urban and rural areas. Let's actually see if we make buses free, let's see if people really do stop using their cars and start using the buses more. We need to do something radical, because we can't keep putting more and more cars on the road and having more and more cars driving, causing pollution in our areas. Maybe electric cars might be the way we deal with that, but I think we need to make it a lot easier for people who want to use buses to do so. So I'd like to see that happen, but it has to be driven by central government. Councils don't have the financial resources to do that.
Thank you very much, Chris. I'm going to go on again on the questions in the chat. We won't have time for all the questions, but I'm going to try to ask as many as possible. And I've got some other ones from the questionnaire when people registered. So this is a very local one. It's going back to housing. Why is Rockingham Estate selling land off for houses? So is that true? And why are they doing it? Chris.
Yeah, happy to go on that one. So I think what we're talking about here is the land that's being developed for the West of Corby development. Rockingham Estates are a private landowner. It's their land, they own it. If they want to sell it for development, there's nothing in law to stop them doing that. And it's very difficult, as I said, under the current planning rules for the council to stop them from building getting planning permission and building the houses they want to build. And in fact, in Corby, the West of Corby development is something been planned for a long time, and I don't think the council would want to stop them, because it's part of the expansion plans for the town. So, the short answer to the question is they're doing it because they can. Now, whether it's a good idea is a different debate.
Kat.
Well, Chris explained why they're doing it, because it's their land and they can do what they want. It's like in Catherine, Wickstead Park is privately owned, and now they would like to build some developments into Luston Park, and there's nothing you can do about it. They have to financially sustain themselves too. But I think it's a very important message where to start the communication within the residents between the need and expansion, and also demand. Because if we are growing and we are attracting people here to come and move here, relocate and work and make their lives, new housing is needed. Thank you. Thank
you very much. There's a question by Maria, which is really interesting, because it talks about people, the attractiveness of Corby. So in light of many people, especially young people, moving to London for better job opportunities, what can be done to retain the labour workforce in Corby, so the money goes back or stays into the community? So Kat first, and then Chris.
Well, I think that's where council plays a great role in developing the town centre and keeping our parks, and there's fantastic leisure opportunities like high-tech swimming pool that runs competitions, and has brilliant facilities for swimming and gym, and the shopping. The town is maintained, and flowers are planted, but also big investment in attracting the money, like for example ARC, what is then investing in high-tech jobs for professionals. I personally, myself, being a young specialist, would like to see more high-tech jobs around these areas for people to stay and for them not needing to go anywhere, because we offer a very affordable living and housing here. So hopefully that can attract young people, the opportunities to own their own home, as well as attractive town, and also good schools, and great diverse community where you can make friends and connect with people. Thank you.
Thank you. So Chris, how do you make Corby more attractive to young people when they're actually going to London for work?
So I think the question was about, so they can stay in Corby rather than move to London or some other big city or just somewhere else. And this is something that the council most definitely can do, because this is about attracting employers to the town, but employers who are offering the type of work that Kat was just talking about, the high-tech work, you know, the better paid jobs, the jobs that university graduates aspire to do, for instance. And you know, you know, in order to do that, you have to make the town an attractive place for employers to come and bring their jobs, you know, whether they're jobs in offices, whether they're jobs at corporate HQs, whether they're jobs in you know, high-tech scientific laboratories, or you know, companies. It's about talking to those people who might do that and selling them the benefits of Corby, so that they feel they can bring their jobs here, whether it's a new startup, whether it's a relocation, whether it's a company coming from abroad, whatever it might be. Because without the jobs, people aren't going to stay. Some will commute, but many will choose to move away because they don't want to commute. So I'm sure that that's something that the council can do, and I'd like to see them do that really quickly. So yes, good question.
Thank you. Quite a lot of questions on housing tonight, and I think we'll ask this one because also it's interesting. So, do you think that Northants Council should start building houses to sell, rent? I guess I would add social housing, as opposed to letting the big house building companies develop the area. Thanks, Robert, for asking the questions. So, Chris first, and then Kat.
Yes, absolutely. Northants Council should be building council houses. You know, as I said, 1,000 families on the waiting list just in Corby for council houses. So, you know, add Kettering, Wellingborough, and East Northamptonshire to that, and we've got several thousand families who want council houses. Now, you know, it's not going to be possible to build all those council houses on day one, but the council needs to make a start. So absolutely, they should be building council houses for rent. And I don't see why, if there's a demand for a particular type of house to own, for instance, bungalows, lots of people like a bungalow as they get older, or sheltered accommodation, not so much to own, but for rent, why the council shouldn't be doing some of that too, whether they do it in partnership with a registered housing provider or something like that, or whether they do it off their own account and then sell the houses in order to recoup the cost. Something needs to be done to break the logjam in the property market. The council is ideally placed to do that. So yes, they should do it.
I couldn't agree more with Chris. Here in Corby, council offers great opportunity for single people with help with social housing, and I think that's incredibly important, especially for single young people. They have so many challenges around them anyway, so definitely council should work very closely with the development and have assigned houses for social care, for single people, for many, you know, people who are in need, and that's where we need to communicate very well to know the needs of our community, you know, what sort of housing and why. But council should definitely be involved, because that's the starting point.
Thank you very much. Now something completely different about security. How would you improve public safety in Corby? And part of that question was by Andrew, but that's not something really I'm not sure it's something that's in the competence of the local council. He also asked, should the police carry taser guns? I'll leave that to you to answer, Kat and Chris.
I'll start. Well, this is firstly my personal opinion that the police officers shouldn't carry guns or taser guns or any sort of violence. This is not the role of police to scare people or to raise the fear. And again, we all start with the communications. Here in the area where I live, we have neighborhood watch, where people go on the app and communicate if they see something, or you know, how they feel about it. There is great people who would like to be elected as police commissioners and, you know, fire safety. And I live in Corby, and at night I walk through the park completely feeling safe. And I think that we are already doing a great job, but definitely for not increasing, you know, any fear or any violence. We just need more services and more people to be there, people to feel freely that they can report anything they feel unsure about. And that's the way forward, but no violence or aggression. I'm completely against. I think with education, you know, how they say that we can stop the terrorism. That's a big saying of, so, you know, we should never go into any taser guns, for sure.
Thank you. Chris?
So I'm a liberal, and so therefore instinctively I'm against the arming of the police with weapons, because I just don't think it's right. However, like many people, I watch TV from time to time, and I watch these documentaries that you sometimes see with appalling attacks happening on the police almost every time they go on duty, and you wonder, well, what can they do about this? And I think what we're going to see is more police will be armed with tasers. It makes me really nervous, really, really nervous. But if they're well trained and if they know how to use the weapon properly and they only use it appropriately, then I think that's all we can hope for. So you will see more police armed with tasers, I'm sure of it. It's the policy of the Chief Constable of Northamptonshire to do that. So it is going to happen. A lot of that and the public security issue are the responsibilities of the Chief Constable and the Police and Fire and Crime Commissioner. However, on public security, there are things that Northamptonshire Council can do. And credit where it's due, 10 or so, maybe 15 years ago, Corby Borough Council did a brilliant job of recruiting a whole team of neighbourhood wardens who worked across Corby, supporting people in their everyday lives, being visible, you know, helping keep the area tidy, being the eyes and ears of the police, often in cooperation with the police and community support officers, two of which the council also paid for a while. Over the years, I'm afraid that network of neighbourhood wardens and the PCSOs got run down. That was very sad and I think a mistake. But I don't see why the council can't build that network up again, because it does help to foster confidence in the public when they know they're going to see a PCSO on patrol in their local area. They're going to see the friendly Corby Borough Council or Northamptonshire Council neighbourhood warden that they know and who will help them with all sorts of things. I'd like to see that re-established as a network in Corby and across the whole of the Northamptonshire area, and that would definitely help to reassure the public and increase public security.
Thank you very much, Chris. Next questions. Again, we're going from one subject to another very quickly, but that's local politics for you. Roads condition. So Gosha is saying that it's really hard to maneuver between potholes, and we have to choose which all we want to go through. So will there anything done to fix the problem? And is there any other solution in the future to unload the traffic in Corby? So Chris first and then Kat.
Okay, so potholes are the sort of often the number one issue, I think, for councillors. People notice them more than they notice almost anything else, apart from litter maybe. And the issue in Corby and across much of Northamptonshire is, again, the terrible state of the finances of Northamptonshire County Council over several years now, caused by the things we've already talked about, you know, downward pressure on government grants to councils, downward pressure on council tax income because of a policy not to put up council tax. And that has meant that there's been less money to spend on maintaining the roads. You only have to look at the roads in Northamptonshire to see that they're not being maintained to the required standard anymore. And the potholes in some areas are utterly appalling, and they just don't get fixed until they're in a really bad state now. And often the fixes aren't very good and they don't last very long. So there does need to be more money spent on the roads. The question is, where is it going to come from? And again, you know, the council, whilst it is going to, I think, start off in a reasonable financial position, isn't going to have a bottomless pit of money to spend on fixing potholes, but they do need to find a way to do that a whole lot better than it's been done so far. I've no doubt that whoever the councillors are that are elected on May the 6th or the next day when they do the count, that will be quite near the top of their list of priorities as a problem that needs to be solved.
Thank you. Kat?
Well, as we discussed, the housing and the building, I think we should definitely as a council, put the pressure on the developers when they build the housing, that they take care of roads to decrease the traffic, to have newer, if you build lots of houses, we need more roads around those houses, as well as parking and all the issues that come with building. The same way when we attract employers and businesses, especially we are famous for logistics, we should pressure the businesses when they extend, that they build the roads and the roundabouts and things, to decrease the traffic. That's very important. You can't bring people in and not have more roads. So I think we should work on that communication with employers, with the businesses, with the new development in that area. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kat. Since this is hosted by the 3 million, we have some questions a bit more specific to the EU residents in Corby. So I see a question by Christine in the chat. To integrate, language comes first, and regardless of political orientations, there's a consensus that we want people to speak English because we're in England. And as I remember coming to this country in '95, and I thought I spoke brilliant English, and then people didn't understand me. I think, what? And but then over the years, I actually taught myself. I did lessons, but I could pay for those. So Christine is asking, would you organize free local English lessons for people that need help with their English proficiency? And so Kat first, and then Chris.
Yes, well, I did say that integration would be one of my personal priorities as a candidate. Of course, I think integration, you have to start, from schools, because children need support. I think it's very distressing for children to be learning the British school program when there is no extra support, firstly, and also communicating with the families. If you can't explain to parents, teachers can't communicate with the families. That's a big barrier we need to overcome. And regarding the free lessons, when I moved to UK, I was 19. I couldn't speak a word. I couldn't speak English at all. I have attended free classes for migrants in the evenings after work that were offered here in Corby. Then Tresham College, and Northampton University offers free courses for people. I attended those too. There is integration classes. There is skills classes, for work, or depending on your need where you want to start. So I would bring those services closer for the areas, for example, when, if people live in those areas and they can't travel, for example, to Tresham, I think having a service that the teacher travels from the college probably to the areas would be great and helpful, but there is services already available and we can just improve on them.
Thank you. Chris?
So it's really good to know from Kat that there are some of these services already available, because I think Christine's suggestion is a brilliant one. If we want people to come here and work, to come here and live, we've got to make it easy for them to do that. And and I welcome people that come to live in this country and come here to work and they want to be here. So let's make it so that they can learn to speak our language. We want them to speak the language. So we need to make it possible for them to do that. We need to make it possible for the people that come here to do a whole load of other things as well. Learn how the British system works, because, you know, it's a weird system, let's face it, some of it, and some of it takes some getting used to. So, you know, let's be welcoming, let's be open, let's be happy that people want to come here, and let's make it easy for them to do so. So free classes in English for those that want it, absolutely.
Thank you. So we're gonna be nearing the end of our Hustings, and I like to finish my meetings on time. So we promised that Jelena and Larisza could come in at the end, and there are some questions for you two, and then you can have your final selling pitch, if you like, Chris and Kat, kind of why people should re-elect you, Chris, what people should elect you, Kat. So first, Andras, Jelena, and Larisza come in, and then you'll have the final words, Chris and Kat, please. So Andras, do you want to have a quick word or question first?
Yeah, I think one question that comes up very often is the EU settlement scheme that EU citizens have to apply for. And I think we have seen a few questions about that. What would you provide information about that to EU citizens in Corby about the EU settlement scheme?
Okay, Chris first, and then Kat.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'll start off by saying I wish there wasn't a settlement scheme. I wish that the government had just said to all the EU citizens that lived here, you can stay, full stop. You don't have to jump through any hoops. You don't have to go through any scheme. You know, we welcome you. We want you to stay. You know, that's it. I don't see why a scheme needed to be set up, but there is a scheme, and people need to know about it. And those people that haven't applied need to be encouraged to apply. And I will be doing everything I can, as should I be re-elected as a councillor, to ensure that the people that I represent know there's a deadline coming, and know that if they want to apply, then they should apply. And I will help anyone who wants to do that in any way I can.
Kat?
I personally see it very sad that the Conservative government doesn't want us to stay, and they are building these barriers for making it much more difficult. You know, people feel scared. Lots of people are encouraged to come back. They don't feel welcomed. I think we have to address that. But then I advertise and support anyone who comes, and I have sent the app, because you can apply on settlement on the app, so it's very easy. So I have forwarded the app to people and have discussed it, have encouraged people to do it, and have explained the process, because overall it's not that complicated. You just have to start. And I will carry on doing that. It's a passion of mine. However, I think it's sad that we have to go through this when you made your life here. And I have lived in the UK all my adult life since I was 18. I couldn't imagine going back to Latvia, because I would feel foreign there. I wouldn't know where to start. And I feel it's sad that you know, the current government is pushing these barriers upon us. Thank you. Thank you.
Jelena, do you want to unmute yourself and come in for a comment or question as an observer of the debate? Okay. I'm not sure Jelena can hear us. Larisza, do you want to come in then? What's your thought hearing from Kat and Chris, and have you got any questions for them? Can you unmute yourself, Larisza?
Yes, but it will be not like questions, it will be more than like ask. I just would like, if candidate who will be win on voting, a little bit more worrying about people who like me, who can speak like easy for English, because sometimes it's just difficult. You can't have a help because nobody no understand what you want. It's not mean I no wanna learn English language, because how I can came like Catherine, she at all not speak English. I same, because in school I learned Germany. So for me, language was new one. And for 5 years, and for this time, I learned that language because I understand, like modern people can tell, yeah, we can came in England and we need to know this language. I just would like if candidate who will be win on voting can be proper understand us, and that's it. And made easy life for people. Okay, for me, maybe little bit is easy, but it's not easy. Learn language, but sometimes people just can't do this, and that's it. And they are need help, and nobody no understand them. So like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larisza. Thank you for your contribution. It's very, very helpful. Jelena, if you can unmute yourself, otherwise I will have to give the candidates their last word. Oh, yeah, you can.
Yes, hello, I'm here. And all I want to say is just I want to wish good luck to candidates, first of all, and second of all, I just wish they will keep their promises and they will do the things what in their mind. I don't have any questions at the moment, but we'll see how it goes. Good luck, guys, and thank you.
Thank you very much. So last words, Kat, I know you've got an appointment, NHS appointment in 2 minutes, so you get the last words and then your last words, and then you can leave quickly, and then Chris can finish. And I will do a quick
I just would like to say thank you to everyone who attended and who are interested, and please join me in exercising your democratic voice, and have willpower to believe that your voice is mattered and it's heard. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the 6th of May elections.
Thank you and good luck. Chris.
Thank you very much. And yes, definitely what Kat said there about, most important thing is exercise your right to vote. You are an EU citizen. You have the right to vote in these elections. Please, please, please use it. I'm not so bothered about who you vote for, but please vote. It's so important. And you work here, you live here, you pay taxes here. You have a right to vote. Please use it. I will keep my promises, Jelena, such as they are. I will continue to represent the community in the same way I have done should I be lucky enough to be re-elected. I will be available, I will keep in touch, and I will certainly be advancing the priorities that I outlined around climate change, building houses and excellent social care. Thank you, everybody. It's been a great evening. Good luck, Kat.
Thank you. It's 6 o'clock, so we're on time. Andras, I'll leave you with the final words. Bye from me in Bristol.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for the panelists and also Larisza and Jelena. And please visit our website, orhomeorvote.co.uk. That's where you will find information about the events coming up next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.